You ready for New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Yay. You ready for New Year's Day? Don't bother me on January 1st. This is going to be fun. Let's start with the games. College football playoffs. We move on to the second round. Rose Bowl, baby. You got Oregon. You got Ohio State. Only words I can use to describe, and I used these words when I was on KUSI because they do the Saturday morning sports package at 6:30 a.m. on Saturday. Only use words I can use to describe what Oregon, Ohio State, fight fire with fire. I think these two quarterbacks are going to come out, and I think they'll throw the football down the field. I think these offensive coordinators are going to come out and try to torch the defenses. And by the way, this game's not being played at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, where Oregon battered Ohio State early in the season. This sucker is on neutral ground. What a bowl game this is going to be. It's too bad it's got to be in the second round rather than the championship. That's a debate for another day. But there's no doubt Dillon Gabriel is spectacular. He's a systems quarterback who's thrown 29 touchdown passes. Dillon Gabriel is going to distribute that football. They run the football very well. They go spread formation. He makes a lot of things happen. I tell you, Ohio State was so spectacular in their last game, in the qualifying game. The burning question, where the hell was that Michigan week? But there's no doubt Chip Kelly's got this thing wired, and these guys are really rolling. And I think they're phenomenal. Will Howard, Jeremiah Smith, Will Howard, the quarterback to Igbuka, the other wide receiver. They got two running backs. And nobody's talking about the Buckeye defense. And I'll tell you, Jack Sawyer and his friends, they're going to bring the heat against Dillon Gabriel. So I think Oregon, Ohio State is going to be a doozy. Peach Bowl, Texas, Arizona State. I think the wheels on Cinderella's carriage, which is located in Tempe, Arizona, are about to come off. Texas plays big boy defense. So the burning question, can Cam Scatabo, the 1,600-yard rusher for the Sun Devils, can he run the football against all things Texas has defensively up front? And Texas has obviously got Quinn Ewers, and they got two power running backs. That's a very good Steve Sarkisian-led team. I think Arizona State's going to have a real tough time against the Longhorns. Fiesta Bowl. This is the New Year's Eve game. Penn State, Boise. Obviously, Ashton Jeanty is a fabulous story. Coming from a military family, moved all over the globe, wasn't a high school football player per se because his family lived in Italy. Ashton Jeanty, Heisman Trophy finalist. He's going to break the all-time NCAA rushing record on Friday night, which will bust the Barry Sanders career record. It'll push him over 2,600 career yards. It's going to be an enormous challenge. But Penn State's great. Penn State's defense is phenomenal. Athletically, I think this made the best modern-day Penn State defense I've ever had, and their offense isn't all that bad. I think the big storyline in the Fiesta Bowl, Penn State's going to put a lot of people in the box, and they're going to try to slow down Jeanty. And they're going to try to make their quarterback at Boise State beat them through the air, which I think is going to be hard because the Lions secondary have a lot of good cover corners. Fiesta Bowl is going to be a good game, but I don't know that Boise State survives New Year's Eve. And then we get the Sugar Bowl. It's kind of like old-time football. I'll call it trench warfare. Sugar Bowl, Georgia, Notre Dame, line of scrimmage game. We'll see how Georgia plays without a star quarterback. Carson Beck, elbow surgery, gone. Actually, he's leaving school. He's going to the NFL. So they're going to play a backup quarterback. Connor Stockton has never started a game in college football. Now, he played well coming off the bench after Beck got hurt, but it's going to be a big challenge for Georgia. Irish got big-time defense. Georgia's got big-time defense. So I guess the burning question, can the Irish run the football at all against the Bulldogs' defense? And then the bigger question, can the Bulldogs' backup quarterback handle all things that have been thrown against them in the Sugar Bowl game by Notre Dame's rock-solid defense? I mean, it's a lot of great kids that play at that Catholic school, but on game day, they're kind of street fighters. Mm-hmm. They may have to go to confession after the game for all the stuff that happens. I think that's going to be a war zone. So those are the four playoff games. And I want to throw a salute out there. The guys that wear the red coats in San Diego, the guys that put together the Holiday Bowl, put together another fascinating game. You know, we have so much tradition in San Diego, the greatness of the Holiday Bowl. I mean, this goes all the way back to SMU, the Pony Express, Michigan, the great games with BYU and their assembly line of quarterbacks under Lavelle Edwards, Barry Sanders here, Blair Thomas, record-setting performance. We had so many great games. This one was almost equal to it. Kyle McLeod, Syracuse's quarterback, throws for 453 and 5 touchdowns. Orange went up and down the field. It was like a Syracuse home down. I don't think there's anybody left in the 315 area code to shovel snow last week. They were all here rooting Syracuse on. And I give a lot of credit to Washington State's kids. They lost their quarterback, Johnny Mantier, the week before the bowl game, decided to transfer to Oklahoma. The head coach quit, took the Wake Forest job. They lost their offensive coordinator, lost their quarterback coach, 25 kids in the portal. They stayed in that game against Syracuse, and they went to war. And they threw the football with a Division III quarterback who made his first start at the Pac-12 level. And he threw for 363 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. The 2 picks decided the game. Syracuse hung on and won. But I'll tell you what, Washington State's kids, thumbs up to them. You talk about damn adversity, an awful lot. And Syracuse is really good. But I salute the Holiday Bowl backers, the people that wear the red jackets at the stadium, who just do so well, putting on a great event in our community. I wish more people in our community would support the Holiday Bowl. They said they had 23,000. The turnstile count was a little bit under 19,000. I wish people go to those games to show the whole country this is a pretty good football city, but I don't know where the football fans in our town have gone because they don't support the Aztecs, and a little bit of erosion in the support of the Holiday Bowl. That being said, what a game for the Syracuse Orange, and what a stand-up thing to see what Washington State's kids outman did for 4 quarters against a really good Orange football team. So, John, you got college football. Here's the podium. There's your mic. Open it. Talk to me.
Well, first of all, isn't this great? I mean, all these are great playoff
Oh,
games.
yeah.
You know, and so there's a lot to enjoy here. And you can maybe criticize the 12-team format, but now that we're down to the final 8, the Elite 8, these are great matchups. And Oregon, Ohio State at the Rose Bowl, it's perfect. It's like the old Big Ten and the old Pac-12. So I like that. But I want to talk about Arizona State because they're one we don't get a lot of conversation about them. Like you say, they're a bit of a Cinderella. You were the voice of the Sun Devils back in the 1980s.
We went to the Rose Bowl, beat Bo Schembechler and Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Never forgot that.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping you can maybe give the audience and myself some insight to what you think Arizona State fan is feeling right now. What's the history of Arizona State football? This could be a big opportunity for them.
Sun Devils were great in the old WAC, and the Sun Devils got to the Pac-10 at that point. Then it became the Pac-12, and they had some really good teams once they came off probation from the Frank Kush era. And that's when I got there, when Darryl Rogers was the coach, and then John Cooper became the coach. And he did very well. He went to a bunch of bowl games. We played here in the Holiday Bowl against Arkansas. We went 3 straight bowl games, capped off by the 1987 bowl game in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena against the team from up north Michigan, and they beat them. So it's been fun to see them come back. They had some dips. They had money problems. They had erosion because the Phoenix market changed. At one point, the Sun Devils were held in high esteem right next to the Phoenix Suns, and those were the only franchises there. And then obviously baseball came, the NFL came, it changed the whole marketplace. And when they weren't winning at Arizona State, there was erosion. Now they've come back. I mean, Sun Devils have just grabbed the town by the throat right now. And there's a lot of ASU fans. And they've done it. Transfer quarterback, North Carolina State. Transfer running back who came from 1AA Sacramento State. So this is a unique situation. Head coach is held in high regard. Ken Dillingham, he's a real smart X's and O's offensive guy. So it's kind of fun. I was with friends from Phoenix over the weekend, and it was really neat to hear them talk about this is just like it used to be, where they would draw 65. And back when I was there, we were drawing 72,000 every Saturday night because Sun Devil football was really important. Marketplace has changed, but they've gotten good. At least this year, they've gotten good. But they're running into a buzzsaw. This is going to be so hard this weekend.
Yeah, well, my heart is in it with the Sun Devils and Boise State, as I want to see the Ohio States get knocked off, those big boys that we're so tired of. I want some fresh blood.
So we got a lot. How about my statement on the Holiday Bowl? Did you like that game?
It was fun. I mean, there was a lot of scoring. And
Yeah.
like you said, I didn't expect Washington State to amount to much. But, you're talking about the Red Jackets that helped coordinate that. Isn't Bruce Binkowski one of the guys?
Well, Bruce Binkowski was here as executive director for a long time.
Yeah.
And of course, he has retired. He's moved up to the Mountain States in the Big Sky Conference and is retired. But they've got great leadership, and they do so much from a charity standpoint within the community. I would just hope that football fans in San Diego and Southern California would embrace what these people do, because they put explosive games on, and they're the only game on TV. It's a Chamber of Commerce advertisement for City of San Diego. So I'd like to see them fill Snapdragon Stadium, because I thought Syracuse, Washington State, I thought it was going to be a wild game when Johnny Mantier was at Washington State. Then he opted out. I knew McLeod coming in was going to chuck it all over the field, and he sure did, throwing 5 touchdown passes and throwing for 453. I said, hope our community will embrace the Holiday Bowl, because these are really special people that donate a lot of time to make this bowl an event, and they just continue to match teams that throw it down the field.
Well, it's always a marquee bowl. Like back in the day, it was the big bowl that wasn't on New Year's Day. But now it's the best bowl that's not part of the playoffs, right? I mean, we had this great run. And by the way, McCord, he played at Ohio State.
That's right. 3 years.
So why did he transfer? I mean, they thought Howard was going to be a better quarterback, and he's kind of just sort of satisfactory, right?
He's kind of a gunner. He'll throw a lot of passes. He'll throw for a lot of yards. He will throw a touchdown. He does throw interceptions. So he just decided to opt out. And boy, it was like they found a present under the Christmas tree in Syracuse last December in the transfer portal. That kid made Syracuse.
Yeah. And then who was the other NFL quarterback that went there? He played for the Eagles. McNabb. Didn't he go to Syracuse?
Yes.
Yeah. So they have history.
The bowl games. Oh, this New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Don't bother him. You can text me, email me. I might get back to you, but I might not, because these bowl games are just going to be spectacular this week. Okay.